Right now we're at the top end of our project. Over here is where the creek comes out of a culvert underneath Swinomish Road and the entrance road at Thousand Trails Campground. And this is the upper end of our project, and from here down we're working on restoring the creek, doing a little channel relocation and installing larger culverts and even a bridge further down. Currently the creek runs down this ditch off to our right over there. We're going to relocate the creek down between these trees, and they'll end up going through the first arch culvert that we already installed. Here we are at our first squash culvert, and basically they started with a big round pipe and they put it in a big press and squished it down a little bit, so we have a pipe that's a little bit wider than it is tall, and currently this pipe is it's an 8-foot by 6-foot tall pipe. And we backfilled this with about 2 to 3 feet of gravel, so the pipe is a little bit buried, and to give us a little bit of gentler slope over the top of it for the road. And currently right now we have some cribbing installed in there, some bracing that we'll leave in there probably for at least till after the project and maybe for another year. So the temporary support as all the material around the culvert gets settled down as people drive over it. And then altogether we're installing 3 of these squash culverts. The next road crossing further down, next one after that are the next 2. Here we are on the top of culvert number 1, and we're close to the finished road grade elevation. And we're looking to, from here, they're laying out the creek right now, and we're going to kind of give the creek some meanders until we get to the next culvert, which we haven't installed yet. So this entire area through here will be graded down to the stream bed elevation. We'll install the gravel on the stream bed and kind of have gentle banks, probably out to 20 feet away from the channel. And along here, this is where we're relocating the creek. So the existing creek runs right next to the road along the ditches, so we'll fill in the ditches once we're ready to relocate the creek. Those ditches that we fill in will act as sort of infiltration gardens, as they call them, to help pretty much filter the water that comes off the road before it goes directly into the creek. As is now, runoff from the road can go right into the creek without any filtration, introducing sediments as well as possible contaminants from non-point source pollution from the roads and automobiles. Here we are in stream section 2, and right now we're Devin Smith from Skagit River System Cooperative and Chris Dietrich from the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife are laying out basically where the stream relocation bed will be. Based on our gradient, they're laying out 183 feet between the center of the culvert and the next culvert. And then based on our chart, we'll be able to tell the excavator operator how far to dig down for the subgrade, and then from there we'll be able to add 1 foot of stream bed gravel to get to our finished grade. We calculated the entire length of the channel. It's going to be 610 feet down to basically where we start the arch culvert, since we have separate engineering diagrams for that section down there. And at this point we'll be putting in the same culverts we had up there, 6-foot by 8-foot squash culvert. That should hope to have in probably within the next couple of days. Here we are looking upstream the existing section 2 from the existing culvert number 1 further up there, and the existing culvert number 2 below our feet. And these are the 2-foot plastic corrugated culverts which we're replacing with the larger squash culverts. And the idea within these upper 2 sections is to move the creek a little bit further away from the main road into the campground to help alleviate some possible pollution problems from runoff getting into the creek directly from the roads. The next 2 sections further down, the creek already has a pretty good 40-50 foot buffer, so it didn't need relocation down there. So we are looking down section number 3, and you see down there we installed culvert number 3 already. Just waiting to finish the final road grade on there, install some gravel along the wing walls, the inlet and outlet stabilization, and that one will be complete after that work, and should have that done in the next couple of days also. Also within the stream section number 3, we'll be pulling the banks back a little bit on each side, since right now we have a narrow stream bed with really steep banks. So we'll be pulling the banks back a little bit to make a little bit gentler slopes along here, basically so we can get a little bit better vegetation growing right along the creek, a little bit better shading, and protection for the fish when they're in the water. So we are at the end of stream section number 3, and we're at culvert number 3. Just installed that today. Setting up the utilities yesterday, moving the power and the water lines to run underneath the culvert. We were able to set the culvert this morning, and we have quite a bit of material over the top of it. And just need a little bit more to finish the road grade. And along both inlet sides of the culvert here, we'll install some large cobbles to help protect the banks and keep the creek, going into the culvert. And we'll do the same on the other side on the outlet. Probably put in at this site. We'll put in within the culvert probably about 2 feet of gravel to bring us up to the stream grade, which is about pretty close to where the stream grade used to be, right down there. Since in this section we're not doing too much regrade, we're doing mostly stream bank modification and not stream bed modification. And behind me here is culvert number 4, which is going to be an arched culvert or a bottomless culvert, which means we're placing in concrete footings 10 feet apart, and then we're putting just an arch between those footings, and then filling in with the stream material underneath there. So there's basically, it's just an arch going across with no bottom to it. Alright, here we are. I'm standing on top of our multi-plate, which is going to make up our arch culvert. And it's made up of 9 pieces, and so we have 3 sections of 3 to make one arch, and then 3 sections of those to make up the entire length of the culvert. So we actually have 3 different sizes here, so based on the diagrams, 3 different sizes make up 1/3 of the arch, and then 2 more of those make up the entire length of the culvert. So altogether, we're going to bolt this thing together with, based on our diagrams, 339 bolts. Will hold this thing together, and this whole thing is going to sit right on those concrete sills that we have sitting just down the way, ready to get placed into the hole. So here we are at crossing number 5 within stream section number 5 behind us, and this is as far down as we're doing the restoration. Now we're standing within a tidal area at low tide, and you can see this culvert is more or less probably about a foot above grade, so it prevents water from getting in there right away when the tide comes up. And it's called a perch culvert. It prevents too much water from actually getting back in to the wetland area. This kind of cleared area from that side over to this side is going to be all open. All this fill will be removed, and our bridge will be put in. Pretty much the channel width we have down here will continue up past the bridge, so we'll be able to get, when the tide comes up, it'll just be able to flow right back in there and fill up that wetland, restore that wetland area to a salt marsh type environment. Alright, here we are over here at our 2 bridge panels manufactured by Big R in Colorado. What we're looking at is 2 40-foot sections, which are 7 feet wide, which will make up the finished bridge, which will be 14 by 40 feet. Alright, we're about 9 a.m. Thursday, September 21st, and we're getting close to installing the bridge panels on top of our sills. You can see our sills are all installed, riprap protecting them on both sides. So it's like we're ready to bring the bridge panels in and set them in place. Alright, here we are. We got the second panel getting close to put in position alongside the second one. We'll get this lined up just like we did in the other one, and we'll be able to bolt them together right in the middle. After we get the plates welded on there, we'll be done. Yeah, look at this thing, man. It's pretty cool. A couple years of work, finally got something kind of in place.
Yeah.
Bolted up, and we're done with the bridge. Makes a big difference. Alright, we're going to get going to install some sheet piling on the ends to cover up the ends, and then we can backfill and start doing the road fill back off behind us.
I turn this around.